Werewolf by Night is a campy horror film that plays on old tropes to bring you a fun and lighthearted story that delivers most of what you want in a horror film. Hello and welcome to my channel. Here, I review new movies and release a new review every day from Monday to Friday. Today, I'm going over Werewolf by Night. It's directed by Michael Giacchino and written by Heather Quinn and Peter Cameron. It's loosely adapted from the original comic by Jerry Conway. It stars Gail Garcia Bernal, Laura Donnelly, and Harriet Sansom Harris. The first thing to mention about this film is that it's more like a pilot episode than a movie. At a total length of 47 minutes, Werewolf by Night is an incredibly short romp into the horror genre. The story is a little shallow, but works wonderfully as a vehicle for aesthetically pleasing cinematography and action. Before we go too far, let's cover the plot. After the death of Ulysses Bloodstone, all of the members of a monster hunting guild return home to decide on the new leader of their organization. The Bloodstone, an object of immense power and the symbol of leadership, is attached to the body of a monster called the Man-Thing. The monster is then released into a labyrinth, and the hunters are sent after it. The hunters will fight to the death for the powerful stone and the right to lead the Hunters Guild. I want to start by talking about the cast. The majority of the cast is made up of extras. Some of them are named extras, but they're extras nonetheless. They get a single line or two and then die a horrific death. I had to read the IMDb page to get their names. That's how little screen time they got. 3 actors in this movie get a chance to shine, and one more than the other 2. Harriet Sansom Harris as Verussa does a terrific job. She plays her as out of her mind with grief and vicious towards Elsa. The contempt she feels for Elsa is made palpable by her performance. Laura Donnelly, who plays Elsa Bloodstone, is given a more generic female action hero role, but her performance in the cage was brilliant. The sheer terror of her situation plays out in her body language, and I just can't get over the way she managed to maintain eye contact with him for most of the 45-second scene. She blinked once, halfway through, but the rest of the time she just cried as she stares in horrified awe. The other actor who gets a chance to shine is Gail Garcia Bernal. As Jack Russell, he is charming and likable, but also shows a more genuine and empathetic side of himself inside the cage with Elsa. Remember earlier when I said the story is mostly a vehicle? Well, it is. It's a minivan. At first, we slowly roll by the opening exposition dump and setup, and then it's pedal to the metal, baby! We're straight in the thick of the action before hitting top speed and blazing right through to a climactic finish. There's a lot of action for just 47 minutes. We get several fight scenes and several scenes of monsters slaughtering people. It's a ton of fun, and they didn't skimp on the effects either, despite the length. When Man-Thing finally gets his hands on people, they melt away in a horrifically beautiful way, and the screams as Wolfman tears people apart are fantastic. They also managed to pull off some awe-inspiring shots that look beautiful in black and white. That scene with Elsa staring into Jack's eyes was disturbing, and the scene with the werewolf by the closing door was pure horror. It reminded me of the Darth Vader's hallway scene and how hopeless it felt, like nothing they could do would save them. Speaking of black and white, this entire film is shot in black and white. It helps create an old-timey vibe and makes night scenes look amazing. The way the old woman's eyes appear black as she starts the ritual was so creepy, as if she was possessed by demons. There are moments with a bit of definition loss due to improper lighting, but for the most part, the black and white style doesn't take away from the film. It just adds. The soundtrack is an iconic imitation. It sounds like an old-timey horror film. The music that plays when the Wolfman is revealed or when he's attacking the guild is a great example. It has this orchestral sound to it that follows the mood. The way it rises and falls is perfect for amplifying the tone of the scene. Where the film falls short is in its length and lack of character development. We never learn who the characters really are. It works on some levels, but is absolutely awful on others. For example, it's really hard to care about the fate of Jack or Elsa when you don't know who they are, or even if you like them as people. Yeah, they're mysterious, but it's not a mystery that I'm invested in. I wanted to know more about the individual hunters too. The 3 or 4 named hunters that make an appearance in the film are given less than 2 minutes each, and the only difference between them is what weapon they use and how they dress. It just feels too short. I wanted so much more, and I'd be willing to invest a lot more time into this. What I saw was an enjoyable horror hero style film. It doesn't take itself too seriously and doesn't shy away from fun, climactic moments. Spend a bit more time telling me about each of the characters, and this is a near perfect film. 8 out of 10.